Hello friends, my name is Cindy and I am one of the children's librarians at Portland Public Library in Portland, Maine. And today we're going to do our second reading of Aven Green, Sleuthing Machine by Dusti Bowling. Let's see what's going to happen next. Chapter 9, Eyebrows. There was another ruckus at school the next day when the food thief struck again. This time the victim was Mr. Collins and the birthday cake the other teachers had brought in for him. Ms. Luna told us all about it. "You should see the mess," she declared. "Strawberry cake everywhere. This wasn't just about stealing cake. This was a deliberate disaster." I nodded. "We have a real criminal on our hands, a food destroyer." Ms. Luna put her hands on her hips. "I think you're right, Aven. This person is quite a mischief maker." "Can I go take a look at this alleged teacher's lounge?" I asked. I was pretty sure the teacher's lounge is alleged because I'd never even seen it before. Ms. Luna frowned. "Students really aren't allowed in there. How on earth am I supposed to solve this case if I'm not even allowed at the crime scene?" "I think they've already cleaned it up," Ms. Luna said. "So I'm not sure there would be much to investigate anyway." "Of course they did," I harumphed. "Amateurs." An amateur is someone who does not know what they're doing. I pondered the pertinent information I had so far about the school food thief. 1. They had stolen Ms. Luna's new lunch bag. 2. They had stolen a bag of bread. 3. They had stolen a whole birthday cake. 4. They were very, very messy. 5. Robert was giving me the stink eye, so he was still a suspect. But he was also a student, which meant he wasn't allowed in the alleged teacher's lounge. This case was getting complicated. 6. I was surrounded by amateurs. 7. My brain already needed a break from this case, and I couldn't wait for my sleepover with Emily and Kayla. Just then, a woman walked into the classroom with a girl. The girl had long, dark hair pulled back in a braid and wore a beautiful pink dress. Ms. Luna smiled and announced, "Class, this is Sujata. She's joining us for the rest of the school year. Isn't that great? Say welcome to Sujata." "Welcome, Sujata," I shouted, and I felt like I said it the most enthusiastically of everyone in the whole class. Sujata looked up at me, smiled a little, and then looked back down at her pink shoes. Here's a picture of Sujata. Then Ms. Luna led her to an empty desk, and she sat down, and all the excitement was already over. I looked over at Emily and smiled. She raised her unibrow and smiled. Then she lifted up her backpack and patted it, and I thought, "Yes, I know you have your sleepover stuff in your backpack." Then she opened it and pulled out a stuffed koala bear. She waggled her unibrow at me. I waggled my eyebrows back, and I thought, "Yes, I know we're going to play Stuffy Salon." And here are she and her friends. Then I looked at Kayla, and she narrowed her eyebrows at me and made a chopping motion with her hand. I narrowed my eyebrows right back at her and thought, "Yes, I know we're going to have a ninja competition." The three of us had a whole conversation with almost just our eyebrows. That's how good friends we were. Then I looked over at the new girl, Sujata, and saw that she was watching us. Then she looked away really quickly, and I noticed that her eyebrows looked really, really sad, but I didn't know why. I thought maybe I should work on solving the mystery of the new girl Sujata's sad eyebrows. Then again, I was overwhelmed with cases at the moment. Chapter 10, Rainbow Barf. "We're going on a sleepover! We're going on a sleepover!" Emily, Kayla, and I sang on the bus after school. We were beautiful singers, even if Emily got a little shrieky at times. The bus dropped us off in front of my house, and we ran inside. "After-school snack! After-school snack!" we sang, because after-school snacks were the most delicious of all foods. "Goodness," Mom said, "go right ahead. Just nothing too sugary." Then she left the room to fold laundry. We pulled out a container of mint chocolate ice cream and mixed in a bag of gummy bears and sprayed some whipped cream on the top, because nothing too sugary is a matter of opinion. Here's the picture of them doing that. But we were only able to eat about half of it before Emily barfed. What a lightweight. A lightweight is someone with a wimpy stomach. Mom ran into the kitchen, saw our snack all over the kitchen table and the rainbow barf all over the floor, and gave me an angry look. "But nothing too sugary is a matter of opinion," I mumbled. "Ninja hand chop," Kayla shouted, bringing her hand down on the stack of pillows in the middle of my bedroom. "Ninja chin chop," I cried, smashing my face against the pillows. "Ninja elbow chop." Emily elbowed the pillows, but not nearly as well as I chinned them. Plus, she ripped a huge one, and Kayla and I couldn't stop laughing. You guys, it's not funny. My stomach still feels gross. "Ninja foot chop," Kayla said, kicking the pillows across the room so we had to restack them. "Ninja butt chop," I hollered, jumping up and down and coming down hard on the stack on my butt. Then I toppled over onto the carpet because it's harder to keep your balance without arms. "Boy, I'm tired," Emily said, wiping the sweat from her forehead. "I don't think I can do another chop." "Me too," I said, lying still with my face in the carpet. "So," Kayla said, now was the tough part, deciding who won the ninja competition. We took it very seriously. Emily broke out the whiteboard and marker. Then she wrote our names at the top and made 3 columns. 10 points for my elbow chop, she said, all braggy, like it's so impressive that she has elbows. 10 points for my hand chop, Kayla said, and I had to roll my eyes. 10,000 points for my chin chop, I said, but they scrunched up their noses at me, so I said, fine, 15 points. Fine then, Emily said. 5 bonus points for my toot. Why? Kayla asked. Emily squinted at her. Distraction. I actually thought Emily could have given herself at least 10 bonus points for that, but I didn't say anything, because I wanted to win, of course. 10 points for my foot chop, Kayla said. Minus 5 points for messing up the pillows, Emily said. 1,000,000 points for my butt chop, I cried. She wrote the points down. Then she said, minus 1,000,000 points for falling off the pillows during your butt chop. I shrugged. She was always fair. We added up the points. It was a tie. I jumped up from the floor. Good competition. Let's get some lemonade. And here's a picture of their whiteboard and their competition. And here's their sleeping bags and stuff on the floor. But Mom would only let us drink lemonade without sugar, which is really just lemon water, because she said we didn't need any more sugar. But that was really just her opinion. Chapter 11, Robot Chickens. The next thing we did was paint our toenails. Emily chose a boring pink, and Kayla chose silver, but I painted mine a beautiful sparkly purple. How do you like that new girl, Sujata? I asked them while we painted our toenails. Emily shrugged. I don't know. She seems nice, I guess. I liked her pink dress. She has really long hair, Kayla said. She looked sad in class today, I said. I wonder why. Maybe her hendroids are acting up, Emily said. I frowned. What's that mean? She shrugged. I don't know, but whenever my granddad looks sad and I ask him about it, he tells me his hendroids are acting up. Hendroids, I said. Sounds like something from Star Wars, like chicken robots. Kayla's eyes got huge. Oh my gosh, does your granddad have chicken robots? I don't know, Emily said, but I could tell she was as excited as we were at the thought. Here's a picture of a chicken robot. You should definitely ask him to explain exactly what his hendroids are next time you see him, I said. This was a very interesting what mystery? The mystery of Emily's granddad's hendroids. Then we did another ninja competition because we needed a tiebreaker, of course. But we smeared our nails everywhere and Mom had to change all the pillowcases, and she sighed a lot, and our nails were ruined. We were already totally pooped by the time we sat down for dinner. Dad came in from work and kissed Mom's cheek. Then he looked down into the pot she was mixing and frowned, though I don't know why, because boxed macaroni and cheese is the best dinner of all time. Dad gave me a kiss on top of my head. Hey there, Sheebs. In case you're wondering why my dad calls me the silly name Sheebs, it's because when my parents adopted me at 2 years old, I acted like a queen needing to be waited on foot and foot. That's because my foster family had done everything for me, and Dad kept saying, she thinks she's the Queen of Sheba. I didn't need to be waited on foot and foot anymore, but he still called me Sheebs. You girls having a fun time? Dad asked. Oh yeah, Kayla exclaimed. We've already had 2 ninja competitions, and we painted our toenails, and we had an after-school snack. Mom rolled her eyes and mumbled something about our after-school snack. Then I barfed, Emily said. Oh no, Dad said. Are you okay? Yeah, I feel great, said Emily. You should have seen it, Dad, I said. She barfed a rainbow that smelled like chocolate-dipped Fruit Loops. Yeah, it was lovely, Mom muttered. Dad covered his mouth and did some gagging before leaving the kitchen. When we all sat down to dinner together, the doorbell rang, and it was Grandma. She walked in all sadly and slumped down at the kitchen table with us. Smitty is still missing, and I just don't know what to do. Did you check under your coffee table? Emily asked, and I thought that was a very good question. I hadn't even once thought to look under Grandma's coffee table. And here's a picture of them all sitting with Grandma. Yes, honey, Grandma said. He's not there. Did you check under the bed? Kayla asked. Wow, maybe Emily and Kayla should have been the private investigators. Yes, dear, Grandma said. Did you check under the fridge? Emily asked, and I decided maybe she wouldn't make a very good private investigator. Grandma sighed. I don't think Smitty would fit under there, but good thinking. Hey, you know what? I said, we should put up some missing dog posters tomorrow. Everyone at the table nodded. That's a great idea, Sheebs, Dad said. He should have known by now that I was chock full of great ideas. By the way, I said, Emily's granddad says his hen droids are acting up. Do you think he has some kind of chicken robots? Grandma snorted a little and covered her mouth with her hand. You mean hemorrhoids, honey? Oh yeah, Emily said. That's it. That's what my granddad has. But we never did find out exactly what they were because Dad choked on his macaroni and cheese and Mom giggled and Grandma just said, the bane of my existence, which I think means they're really bad. So I hoped Sujata didn't have them after all. And I was really disappointed to find out that Emily's granddad didn't actually have any robot chickens. Chapter 12, All Worn Out. Luckily, we had lots of pictures of Smitty to choose from, and Dad designed a fantastic poster. We printed about 100 of those bad boys. Then we all went out that morning after breakfast, frozen waffles, 'cause Mom is the coolest, to put them up around Grandma's neighborhood. We even put one on the school, which made me feel kind of important. I could just imagine everyone walking in and seeing the poster, and I would be like, yes, I know this famous missing dog. I couldn't reach high enough to staple the posters to the poles and walls with my toes, so Mom let me dictate where they would go. I think I'm a very good dictator, and Mom and Dad agree. Emily and Kayla weren't as impressed with my dictating skills and insisted on putting the posters where they wanted. A couple of times we had to stop to give Grandma hugs because she started sniffling a bit. You see, Smitty was her best friend, and so we just had to find him because a great grandma without a best friend was simply the saddest thing I'd ever heard of. After all, 100 posters were hung. Kayla and Emily went home. That night, dinner felt very sad without Grandma and Emily and Kayla there. And of course, Mom didn't make anything as special as boxed macaroni and cheese, just stewed pot roast with lots of vegetables and baked rolls and a side salad. Here's a picture of them hanging the posters. Side salads were only okay as long as I could pour ranch dressing on them, just like half a bottle. We all chewed our pot roast more sadly than we ever had before. What if we don't find him, I asked. Dad reached over and squeezed my shoulder, and I noticed he had some pot roast gravy on his chin, but I felt too sad to even laugh about it. Don't give up hope, Sheebs. Hey, put that amazing brain of many brain cells to work. What should we do next? But my brain of many brain cells just fell back in my chair. I think they're all worn out, I mumbled. Never, Dad said. They just need a good rest. I bet you girls didn't sleep as much as you should have last night. I heard them up giggling at nearly midnight, said Mom, giving me the stink eye. We wanted to see if we could stay up all night long, I said. And did you? Asked Dad. No, I said. We conked out. And I felt like I was about to conk out right then and there at the table. And I almost did. And Mom told me to get my butt to bed. So I did. And then they tucked me in and said, "Good night, sweet Sheebs," which always made me feel warm and fuzzy. I would think about Smitty tomorrow. And there is a picture of Aven Green sleeping in her bed. And that was our second reading of Aven Green, Sleuthing Machine by Dusti Bowling. And tomorrow we will read more. I hope you'll come back to join me. My name is Cindy. I am one of the children's librarians at Portland Public Library in Portland, Maine, and I'm so glad you stopped by. Bye-bye, friends.